Alright, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone that rule well, that taught us the truth. And blessings to the elect and nation Israel, whether it be scattered. This is Brother Yakal. Come with another lesson, the Lord will be edifying, you know. And in today's lesson, we're going to go into some history, because history usually repeats itself, all right? And, you know, the stuff that's been going on recently with this, what's this guy, this Charlie Kirk and all that kind of stuff. I'll address that as well, because all these people, they're just puppets, man, you know? And he was more or less the same. Nothing but a puppet. And then obviously you've got these people, you know, so-called conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff. But we have to understand that he was just a useful idiot, basically. You know, nothing more, nothing less. And I'll address that. But with his so-called assassination or whatever bullshit that they, you know, trying to make people, you know, fear about democracy and oh, you can't have these views and this, that, and the other thing. Basically, it's just dividing America, and America's divided, and there's nothing you can do about that. And the great thing about that is that when you have a mighty empire and it's so divided as America is now, there's only one outcome, and that outcome is it's going down, you know. And that's a good thing, because this has been the most evil, wicked
over the years
empire in the world, man. All right. Now, there's always this is a channel that it used to be called Russian Vids, but he's very good at basically calling out bullshit. You know what I mean? And this whole thing with this Charlie Kirk assassination is just bullshit. So I'm going to kind of address it a little bit here by showing the video that he did, because he was a Mason. You know, nothing more, nothing less. All right, he was a Mason, man. All right, now I'm going to click this video. I think this is here, and we're going to go into it. But the good thing about all of these things that are happening is, for a kingdom to stay strong, it has to be united. This kingdom is divided. All right, and therefore it's fallen. All right, I'm gonna play this. Well, let me see if I can, you know, ignore the adverts. Let's see. All right, because you can't be someone with on that stage and have that big platform without being, you know, a Freemason puppet. And that's all that he was. He was nothing but a Freemason puppet. All the things that he said, he probably don't even believe in them, but he's been given a script, and he had to follow it, man. Okay.
news story, and with this specific individual here, Tyler Robinson, who was turned in supposedly by his father. As the story goes, there's a lot of confusion and misinformation on purpose, by design, stating his father, named Matt Robinson, was a sheriff for 27 years in the police department. It turns out he has a construction business. As far as Matt Robinson, Tyler Robinson's father, and the confusion over being a sheriff and being in construction, but nonetheless, that's the clarification as far as this character is concerned on the world stage. Again, Tyler Robinson is his name. And when it comes to the name Tyler, as in Freemasonry, someone that lays tiles, and Tyler Robinson in Chaldean numerology is 47. I covered this before. when it comes to the Masonic square and compass set at 47 degrees. And when it comes to Tyler Robinson and Pythagorean numerology at 69, as I've shown many times over the years, well over a decade, with this image, this photo, within a Masonic lodge and the 69, which basically represents the duality, 6 and 9 being flipped, obviously. And that gets into more of the numbers game. And for those that have gatekeeped the number 33 for so many years, telling me that 33 doesn't mean anything, let's take a look here with FBI head Patel. Just take a closer look. Made tremendous progress in 33 hours. Again, with FBI Director Kash Patel.
See, so what this video is showing, that all of these things are staged, man. You know, and the word, the number 33 is the highest degree in Freemasonry. All right? It's the highest degree in Freemasonry. And why is it the highest degree in Freemasonry? Because who died and rose again at 33 years of age? Yahushua did. So you can understand that these so-called, and it's not a secret, and that's another clue of this empire is crumbling, is that there's no secrets anymore. You know, there's no secrets anymore. Everyone knows about the Freemasons, and that is your what's the word? That's your kryptonite now, because like the book of Revelations, all right, the word revelation means to reveal, all right, and the Lord is revealing how the enemy operates, all right. So anytime you see these stories, I always say, oh yeah, but I watched it and I saw, because I remember on that day that this Charlie Kirk got shot. You know, I had what's it called? I was on the computer. I was trying to distract myself because I had a lot of pain and stuff like that. And then I just saw these feeds saying that this guy's been shot, whatever. And I remember clicking on one video and it actually showed the shooting. You know, and he got shot in his neck. But hang on, JFK was so-called assassinated. Oh, and Donald Trump was almost so-called assassinated, and we know that those events were fake. You know, so when I saw this, just because I saw the actual, because there's actual video shows you the whole thing, and that's what I saw, and it looked like he got shot in the neck or whatever. That could be easily staged. You know, many of the historical events, like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, all that was all staged, and there's videos to prove it, man. All right. So what this guy is saying is absolutely right. They deal in numbers and they deal in secrecy, but the Lord has revealed these things, all right, to the world now, where we are not going to be fooled no more. And once you have your secrecy gone, that's your power gone. So that shows you that America, all right, is on the downward spiral, man. Okay.
Here you see BBC News, a 33-hour manhunt and morning show reveal how police caught Charlie Kirk suspect. So again, when there's people out there trying to downplay the number game, the number 33, with all these events, it's all about order to chaos. When it comes to the number 33, with the chaos they create, they bring in new laws. And that is, of course, order out of chaos, like I mentioned. In the importance of Masons conversing without the use of speech, as I show many times, out of evil comes good. However, in the confusion of tongue gave rise to the ancient practice of Masons conversing without the use of speech. So Masons in the know, they will understand this. And I really have to emphasize this with his whole entire news story and the 33 popping up and people believing the official narrative. Give me a break. You're not real truth seekers. You have no place in truth. I'll get more of that momentarily. But as I mentioned with Charlie Kirk from Utah here during this outdoor appearance with all these individuals gathered around and all the hats, I mentioned how, of course, 4 and 7 is 11. So you get your 11, 11, 11 for your 33. And also, it should be mentioned as well when it comes to 47, 47, and 47. In Pythagorean, it is 33. And in Chaldean, it is 33. Now, this comes to the point when it comes to so-called truthers on YouTube and other platforms. I've been in truth for the longest time, before any of these individuals, such as you see here, Richie from Boston, Jaron, David Weiss, PK, the list goes on and on, Jeff C., you name them. Before they were around, I was making videos on YouTube, and I've seen all these individuals show up out of nowhere. On many occasions, I didn't say much about them, but I knew a lot. A lot of these individuals calling fake events real. And that gets into what Richie says here. Let's take a listen. And this is classic gatekeeping. The same thing David Weiss has done regarding the number 33. Let's take a listen.
And it's good that he's revealing that, because there's a hell of a lot of people online that are giving you a bit of truth, but most of it's lies. You know?
Check this out. If you're still following YouTubers whose only information is decoding the number 33 and the way people hold their hands and stuff, guess what? 15 years ago called, we're done with that.
And you just heard that with Richie claiming it doesn't mean anything with the number 33 and the hand signs.
No, it does mean anything, because I mean, look at his hand signs. Why is he doing that with his hands? And this bitch on the right, Candace Owens, doing the same thing. Why are they doing that? You know? Why are they making those hand signs? Because they belong to a certain club. And if you look at Candace Owens, you know, she brings out good information and stuff like that. What was her journey? Her journey was she was married to some Edomite guy from England, who was member of the Burlington Club. Now, the Burlington Club is, I think it's in Oxford, I think it is. And it's a Freemason club, basically. She's married to that guy, all right? A guy that does all that stuff. So this is the way, I mean, she just came out of nowhere. You know? She came out of nowhere. So you have to watch the numbers, because they deal in numbers. You have to watch the hand signs, all right? You have to, and it's in the scriptures, man. All right. Wait. Let me go back. Proverbs 6 and 13. All right. He winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, and he teacheth with his fingers. Hand signs, man. All right. Hand signs, man. Okay. All right. Verse 14. Frowardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually. He soweth discord. And that is what exactly is this devil is doing with these puppets. You know? Why do you think their hand signs is that? And that hand sign is called the Vesica Pisces. You know, you have to be, you know, indoctrinated into a certain club. All right. To know how to do these hand signs. And you see it everywhere, man. On the news, all right? News presenters do it, people on the sports, entertainment. So when the Bible tells you that this earth is given into the hands of the wicked, all right, you can see it right there, all right? So this is another way, his so-called death, which is all bullshit. He's probably on an island somewhere, you know what I mean, with his wife and kids, chilling. But what is going to come out of this? Because basically, as soon as he was on the stage, he was asked about gun violence, and then that happened. So what is it they want to get out of that? They want to take away people's gun rights. As simple as that. And the reason why they want to do that is because when all hell breaks loose, when we have this great tribulation, Jacob's trouble, they want people to be defenseless. So he was another puppet, another shill, just like this bitch on the right, Candace Owens, man. Okay, so you have to know the ways of your enemy and what your enemy does, you know, because there's a lot of people that are really upset by this, and there's been fights over this. There was a memorial for this guy, and a black guy was there, and these whites were beating the shit out of him. All right, so we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. This is all gatekeeping. This is all there. This is order out of chaos. You know what I mean? So you have to understand the methods of your enemy. All right. Now, one of it is called Hegelian dialectic. Let me see, Hegelian dialectic. All right. This is what they do to bring in laws that take away people's rights. All right. The Hegelian dialectic is a philosophical method of describing how concepts and ideas develop through contradiction, moving from feces to antitheses, and finally to the higher level synthesis that resolves the conflict. Meaning, all right, they do something that causes a problem, they publicize it, all right, like this guy was doing. Charlie Kirk was talking about gun violence, whatever, you know, this, that. He was talking about it, then all of a sudden he gets shot in the neck in front of people, all right, and now people are outraged. And what is it that they want to do? They want to take away your gun rights, you know, because America was founded upon guns, and they know that they need high-class puppets like these two clowns on the screen to do it. And why are they going to do that? Because they want people to be defenseless when all hell breaks loose. And this is another desperate attempt to keep this wicked empire going, and it's not going to work. All right, it's not going to work. The Lord has set a time, all right, that this empire is going to be here on the earth, doing its thing, all right, rising, committing evil. But then now, if you look at it, we're in the place of its decline and its end, all right. And that's what scares the so-called white man and the elites. They want to keep going, but the Lord has given them a cutoff point that they can't muck with, because he is the author. He's the one that gave you that wicked empire, man. All right. For prophecy's sake. All right. This is Job 14:5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds, he cannot pass. All right. So there's a cutoff point for this wicked empire to rule. And we're coming to the end of its rule. Okay. And there's good signs, you know. And we thank the Heavenly Father for this. You know what I mean? It's weird. There's signs, all right, that what is happening with America is exactly what happened with the Roman Empire. And I love history, man. History is very important to understand what's going on today, and to know that it's basically all the wicked spirits that were back on the earth in the Roman Empire. They're here today. Everything's reincarnated. All right. Now this is a thing that I saw, and I want to play it a bit. All right, and it talks about the Roman Empire. All right, and their monetary system. All right, now pay attention to what it's saying, because exactly what brought down the Roman Empire. And when you look at the Roman Empire, all right, I put in Google, what made Rome fall? It wasn't just one thing that made the Roman Empire fall. In fact, at the end of the Roman Empire, even though these crackers don't like it, but it's facts. Most of the emperors at the end of the Roman Empire were Israelites, man. All right, the 5 good Roman emperors, Septimius Severus, his sons Caracalla and Geta, they were all people of color, but they're not going to tell you that, you know. But I put in here Google what made Rome fall, and look what it said. It said the fall of the Western Roman Empire resulted from a combination of external military pressures, because they had, just like America has different military bases everywhere, where, you know, these countries they conquered. All right, Rome had the same thing, and you have to maintain those military bases. All right, you have to pay those soldiers. All right, you have to pay for the infrastructure, etc. So you better have some major money coming in. All right, particularly invasions by various people and internal systemic issues. And this is what this Charlie Kirk business is happening in America. It's causing a divide that was already there, but it's exacerbating that divide. Because now they're saying, oh, you know, what happened to free speech and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Can we say this and all that? You see, they're actually doing things that is accelerating the decline of that empire, but the Heavenly Father is in charge of it. All right, including weak leadership, political instability, economic decline, corruption, and societal strain. And if you look at, so this is the fall of the Western Roman Empire. And if you look at everything that is said in this AI overview about how Rome fell, that's exactly what's going on in America today. You know, and another way is their currency. Their currency is being devalued, just like how the Romans had a currency. I'm going to show you this clip to show you the similarities. All right. And now, if you look at America, I put in Google, how many bases do they have? All right. The United States operates around 700 military bases in approximately 80 countries around the world. That's incredible. 750 military bases in 80 different countries. It's incredible. They have to pay for the upkeep of that. All right, they have to pay their soldiers for that. So no wonder that you average Americans, that's why your taxes are never going down. That's where your tax dollars are going to. Okay, and people actually know this stuff, and this is why people in America are rebelling and not liking the direction that the country is going in, because the Bible said in the last days knowledge shall increase. All right, and that's happening. With more knowledge, all right, that the people are getting, the more the people are thinking, hang on, rather than them sort out the problems at home, they're funding all these wars, abroad. And whether you're on the left or the right, they're sick of it. All right. Now, this is a good clip showing you about the fall of Rome and how it compares to America. Pay close attention to this.
By monetary history. So what lessons can we take from the past to help us navigate the perfect economic storm that awaits us?
Debasing a nation's currency supply to pay for public works and war is a pattern that just repeats and repeats throughout history, and it's a pattern that always ends badly.
In this double episode, we're going to create a timeline to show the similarities between ancient Rome and the United States today. Just like the USA, Rome started out as a republic after overthrowing a monarchy. So let's begin with their early economy in around 500 BC.
In the early days of the Roman Republic, for the first 178 years, there's no evidence of big inflation. They were using gold and silver coinage mostly as their currency. Small denominations were made out of copper and bronze. Then Hannibal of Carthage starts to harass Rome in something called the Second Punic War. And to pay for this war, They did deficit spending by taking the coins that they took in taxes, melting them down, and adding cheap and abundant base metals, such as copper, so that they could mint more coins. This caused a big inflation, and the inflation was one of the factors that brought the Roman Republic down to a dictatorship, the Roman Empire.
Most of Rome's gold and silver was stored in vaults under the floor of their treasury, which was also known as the Temple of Saturn. If you visit Rome, go to the Forum in the center of the city, where you can still find the ruins of the temple today. And here's something I found really interesting. The U.S. Treasury in Washington, D.C. has almost exactly the same design. So now let's start filling in our timeline of events to keep track of the major similarities between Rome and the USA. We just learned that the early Roman Republic enjoyed a long period of practically no inflation because they used sound money, pure gold and silver. Interestingly, the United States started on the same path. From the late 1700s to the early 1900s, prices were very stable thanks to laws that mandated the use of gold and silver as money, and our people were not robbed by inflation. But in both instances, it was the ongoing debasement of the money for war spending and public works that led to economic chaos. Tell us the parallels between Rome and what's happening in the United States today.
Well, they're obviously two very different societies, but there are some broad parallels. Rome was a republic. They made sure they had two people each year who were the rulers, the consuls. They always changed because the Romans were worried. They'd had a monarchy before, very unpopular. They overthrew it, so they didn't want anyone getting too many powers. What did in Rome? No surprise, excessive taxation and debasing the money.
See, so they had basically a two-party system back there in Rome. They had the plebeians and the patricians, all right, which is just like today, your Republicans and Democrats, all right. Nothing new under the sun. Is exactly the same, and they're basically as bad as each other. All right, they're bad as each other, man. And all right, and it doesn't matter which one you go for, the same outcome is gonna happen, just wickedness. All right. Now, if we go to Revelations chapter 13, Revelations 13 and 11 here, and it says, look at the subheading, the beast from the earth. All right, and that beast is talking about the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire, all right, fell. All right, it did fail, and it fell to our people. That's why you had a period in called the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages, and that was when our people were ruling. And the start of that empire, our people called it what? The Holy Roman Empire. Holy Roman Empire. They made the Roman Catholic Church and so forth. All right, and that's another story entirely. But these crackers are getting. And I'm going to do a video on it this week, Lord willing. They're getting very angry because there's a film called King and Conqueror. It's a drama series about the Middle Ages, the Battle of Hastings, with King Harold fighting William the Conqueror. All right, and in this program, this drama series, there's black people, and these black people are in the army and you know, in the actual nobility, and they're saying that it's woke and stuff. No, it's absolutely facts. In fact, in that time, whites were peasants. They were totally separate from us at all, you know. So I'm going to try and do a video on that this week, Lord willing. Okay, but we go to Revelations 13:11, and it says here, and I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns, and horns represent power, all right, like a lamb, all right, and he spake as a dragon, all right, and that's talking about your Republicans and your Democrats, all right, And when it says he had two horns like a lamb, but spake as a dragon, because really, both parties, what are they doing? They are bringing in draconian laws that take away people's rights. And this business of Charlie Kirk's bullshit fake assassination, I guarantee you, just keep focused on the news, all right, on the aftermath of this. Usually they bring in laws that take away people's rights. And in fact, many of the times when they do these, like these big psyop events like Charlie Kirk and other things like that, they usually pass laws through. There was a channel, and I couldn't remember it, but there was a channel that said that during this Charlie Kirk assassination, they met in Congress and they pushed through a bill to keep supporting Ukraine in their war against Russia.